person made an application to this court while relying on Article 28 of the Constitution, that's the right to fair hearing, and Section 46(1) of the Trial on Indictments Act. He asked the court to call the doctors in Butabika because from the evidence on record by the prosecution, it was indicated that the accused had a history of mental illness. He also asked this court to make an inquiry into the mental health of the accused pursuant to Section 46(1) of the Trial on Indictments Act. He further stated that this government institution, that is Butabika, would be in a position to tell us whether the accused has ever been in Butabika in his life and his health status, and they will also be able to tell us whether he was following the proceedings and to be put on his stand matters he has finished. I need to observe from the onset that I find this application in the middle of the testimony of DW2 with almost no background information, very irregular. I would rather counsel waited for the witness to first give his evidence, whereupon he would have sufficient information upon which to base his application. Nevertheless, I will proceed to address his concerns. In reply, Mr. Jonathan Muwaganya, Chief State Attorney, while citing Section 46(1) of the Trial on Indictments Act, contended that this application is rather strange and was brought too late. He argued that the provision of the law, that is Section 46(1) of the Trial on Indictments Act, relates to the capacity of the accused person to follow proceedings during trial. He argued that an application under this section should be brought before the accused's defense and not after. While citing the case of Omaka Geoffrey versus Uganda, number 9 of 2017, he submitted that the capacity to stand trial when the person has capacity to stand trial when he is able to do one or more of the following. A, that he understands the nature and consequences of the proceedings, and that he can communicate with his advocate in the sense that he is able to take part in his own defense. He further argued that the two separate questions to ask is whether the accused is able to understand and plead to the indictment against him, and whether he would be able to take an effective part in the trial. He further stated that this was for courts to decide and not the doctors. That is from that decision. And now this is the decision of the court. Section 46 of the Trial on Indictments Act is under Part 7, which provides for procedure in case of mental illness or other incapacity of the accused person. Subsection 1 thereof provides that, and I'm quoting, when in the course of a trial, the High Court has reason to believe that the accused is suffering from mental illness and consequently incapable of making his or her defense, it shall inquire into the fact of such mental illness. In the case of Omaka Geoffrey versus Uganda, which the prosecution relied on, I am persuaded by the decision of the Land Honorable Justice Stephen Mubiru regarding what to look at when to determine whether a person is capable or not. He says a person will be capable of standing trial where he is able to do one or more of the following: understand the nature or object of the proceedings in the sense that he is able to understand that he is in a courtroom, recognize the people in the courtroom, that is, the judge, the state attorney, his advocate, and why they are there. 2, understand the possible consequences of the proceedings. That is, to understand what he is charged with, what kind of pleas he can take, that is, guilty or not guilty, what can happen to him if he pleads guilty, or what can happen if he does not tell the truth in court. 3, communicate with his advocate in the sense that he is able to take part in his own defense and tell his advocate, even in best terms, what he wants to do with his case. When this matter first came up on the 13th of April 2026, this court interfaced with the accused person for the first time. I extended my greetings to him and he respectfully responded to me. I informed him that there were some charges against him and I needed to tell him his right to a fair hearing under Article 28 of the Constitution. I explained to him his right to a presumption of innocence and the right to be legally represented, among others. I informed him that 2 lawyers had been assigned to him to assist him in these proceedings. I also informed him that if he had anything to ask or communicate, he would communicate the same through his lawyers or he would speak to the court directly. I then asked him if he had understood and he answered in the affirmative. Since then, the accused person has very well exercised those rights, right from the time of taking plea to the time of giving his defense. The accused exercised his right to plead not guilty to all the 4 counts, and in fact, when I first asked him, while explaining to him the particulars of the first count, and I asked him whether it was true, he asked me, "Do you mean my plea?" And when I said yes, he went ahead to say, "I plead not guilty." This pattern followed through the other counts. I have observed him throughout the proceedings, and I am satisfied that he was alert and keenly following the proceedings. Occasionally, whenever he had something to communicate, he often raised his hand, and I would either ask his lawyers to attend to him, and immediately I would ask the lawyers whether they had a communication to make to court from the accused person. However, on other occasions, he raised his hand, and his lawyers would tell me that he wants to address court personally. Whenever I gave him a chance to speak, I did not find anything irregular with his speech, which would have given me reason to believe that he is suffering from mental illness and incapable of following the court proceedings and eventually give his defense. When the prosecution closed its case yesterday, the 23rd of April 2026, and after finding a prima facie case against the accused on all the 4 counts, thereby requiring him to give his defense, I explained to him the options that were available to him to make his defense pursuant to Section 74, subsection 2 of the Trial on Indictment Act. I then asked him if he had understood, and he said that he had understood. I specifically asked the accused person to repeat what he had understood, and he accurately explained it back to me. I gave him 30 minutes to consult with his lawyers and informed the court which option he would take. When court resumed, he informed the court that he wasn't quite ready, but said he would give a sworn testimony. Regarding his witnesses, he informed the court that he needed to get their particulars in his 3 phones, 2 smartphones and 1 button phone, which he clearly described. The same which were already admitted as prosecution exhibits were availed to him, and he was given time to scroll through them, upon which he wrote 4 names and telephone contacts on a piece of paper for court to summon them. I am glad to note that the defense has informed the court that 2 out of the 4 witnesses whose particulars were availed to court were duly summoned and are present in court. The current witness, GW2, who stated that his accused brother being one of them. After the accused informed the court that he would give a sworn testimony, I again gave him an hour to prepare himself. And when court resumed, he still informed the court that he was still not yet prepared to give his defense. I then reminded him that if he gave a sworn testimony, he would be subjected to cross-examination by counsel for the state. And then he responded, "In that case, I will give an unsworn statement." The matter was then adjourned today, the 24th day of April 2026, when he gave a detailed and sworn statement. The accused asked whether he could consult his notes while he gave his defense, and his request was granted. He then took out his notes and kept on making reference to them under different subjects. He also occasionally made reference to the evidence of the prosecution and going ahead to rebut it with his own evidence. He repeatedly stated that he did not deliberately kill the 4 children, but he was under the control of some people whom he said were in 3 categories. The accused further stated that between the months of January to March this year, he was in distress as a result of those people who were surveilling him, and he understood that they would prevail over him. I am satisfied that this is his defense, which the court will analyze in light of the other evidence on record at the time of giving judgment. Throughout the trial, it has been, of course, clearly said that the accused person suffers from chronic sickle cell anemia disease, which affects his body. It does not affect his mental abilities. In light of the above, therefore, in the course of this trial, I have had no reason to believe that the accused is suffering from any mental illness, which would make him incapable of making his defense, thus requiring me to inquire into his mental abilities. I have watched the accused throughout the trial, and I'm satisfied that he has been following the proceedings right from the beginning. I therefore decline to make an inquiry into the mental health of the accused person as requested by his lawyers. Counsel for the accused has also asked this court to call the doctors in Butarika. Unfortunately, he did not specify which doctor this court should call. He also stated that the doctor should tell us whether the accused has ever been to Butarika Mental Hospital. Unfortunately, he also did not specify which period. It is important to note that BW2 is the first person to mention that the accused person has ever been in Butarika. The accused person himself, while giving his defense, never mentioned at all that he had ever been in Butarika. The mental distress he talked about while giving his evidence was between the months of January to March 2026. Counsel for the accused made reference to PF24, which was marked as a prosecution exhibit PEX7. That was the examination of the accused person on his physical and mental abilities done on the 7th of April. Those were five days after the alleged offense happened, by Dr. Nwamaya Emmanuel, who is a police surgeon but also a psychiatrist. He informed the court that he assessed the accused person, and these were his findings, and I'm quoting. He had normal behavior, calm, cooperative, speech was coherent, story intact, and exhibited good judgment. His thought process and content was normal, but believed in wealth by human sacrifice. He was able to explain the reason for killing the children as fortune hunting or enrichment. He got the idea on recalling childhood folk tales of getting wealth by sacrificing people. In that report, Dr. Nwamanya made a note as information from the accused, and I'm also quoting. He had a history of past mental illness, treated between 2016 to 2025 for schizophrenia associated with both auditory and visual hallucinations. He killed his 2 to 3-year-old brother in 2016 or 2017, reportedly to save him from the troubles of this world. He also attempted suicide in 2023, and he was also a sickle cell patient on treatment. The findings above are suggestive of a mental condition with psychotic episodes. Further mental assessment is necessary since no medical documents were availed and was the only source of information. From the above information, Butarika is not mentioned anywhere. The defense has not given this court any information regarding the mental health of the accused person in light of the presumption of sanity under Section 10 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 128. Having said that, I reiterate that the only person that has mentioned that the accused person has ever been to Butarika before this court is BW2. I am unable to make an order requested for by the defense lawyers on behalf of the accused to call a doctor from Butarika before hearing the full testimony of BW2. In the meantime, BW2 shall continue his testimony, whereupon the court will make a decision as whether it is necessary to call somebody from Butarika or not, but it will only be restricted as to whether the accused person has ever been to Butarika, but not make an inquiry as to whether he is capable of standing his trial. And that is the order of the court. Can give the summary.
Twawumulidde Liida Gw'Okutta yataddeyo okusaba kwe ng'asaba nti kooti ewa ekiragiro, kooti etumye bayite omusawo okuva ebutabika ajje awa obujulizi oba Okera ategeera bulungi oba nedda, era n'omuwali wa gavumenti n'addamu n'asaba n'agamba okusinziira okusaba we kujjidde akuwakanya n'okuba nti essaawa bye bakuleetedde ng'Okera amaze okuwa obujulizi okuweewozaako kwe era tewaliiwo nabukakafu buleeteddwa ludda lwawaabirwa, era omulamuzi atekenenyeza n'ayetegereza n'obujulizi obwaleetebwa edda n'agamba nti okusinziira n'engeri gy'abadde ayogerezeganyaamu n'Okera okuva omusango we gwatandika nga 13 omwezi guno tannazuulawo nsonga yonna emwaliriza kubanga anoonyereza ku ntegeera y'Okera. N'agamba nti obujulizi bw'ono omujulizi ow'okubiri oludda olwawaabirwa agende mu maaso n'obujulizi bwe olwaleero.
Sir, would you please resume your stand? Mr. Kumbuga, you know where we stop?
Thank you, my Lord. Defense has successfully led the defense witness, and we close our evidence in respect of that witness. We pray prosecution goes ahead to cross-examine.
You're telling me that was all you needed from him?
No, my Lord, I've said in respect of this witness.
That is all you needed from this witness?
Yes, my Lord.
Okay. Do you have any cross-examination you want to make, counsel, for the state?
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Your brother, I just want you to confirm that your position is that your brother was in Butabika in the year 2020. Is that your position?
Yes, sir.
Nkakusa nti muganda wange yali mu ddwaliro ly'e Butabika mu mwaka 2020.
But you don't know the reason why he was taken there, do you?
No, the reason was not given to me.
Era ensonga lwaki yatwalibwayo sigimanyi kuba ensonga teyampeebwa.
But it is in your knowledge that before finding himself there, he had killed a stepbrother called Freeman. Is that something in your knowledge?
I have had. It's not something that I would say is in my knowledge.
What have you had?
I had heard that, as Council had mentioned, that he had killed the person called Freeman.
Freeman is supposed to be your brother, a son of your biological dad. Do you still want this court to believe that it's a fact not in your knowledge?
I had not met my little brother before.
So you are not aware whether he's alive or dead?
I am aware that he is dead.
Nawulira buulize nti nali ntuuliddeko nti muganda wange ono yatta omuntu ayitibwa Freeman ng'era nkimanyi nti oyo Freeman yafa.
And from Butabika, as you say, your brother, the accused person, went straight to the United States. Do you know when he went to the US?
No, I do not.
Simanyi ddi muganda wange yagenda mu America.
So other than today, when did you last see the accused person?
Physically, the last I saw him was
Which year?
Other than today.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Other than today, the last I saw him was in the evening of the night of April 2nd.
Was this after his arrest?
Yes, that was after his arrest.
Ng'oggyeko leero lwe nasemba okulaba muganda wange ono maaso ku maaso namulaba ng'amaze okukwatibwa kawungeezi kanga 2 omwezi ogwokuna.
Okay, other than the night of April 2nd when he was arrested, when had you last seen him?
It had been long, I cannot...
In terms
recall.
of years, can you estimate for this court in terms of years?
About 5-6 years.
Ng'oggyeko lwa kawungeezi k'olwo nga 2 omwezi ogwokuna nali nasemba okulaba muganda wange mu myaka wakati w'etaano n'omukaaga emabega.
And I'll be correct to observe that even though you are biological brothers, you are not close associates. You are not close friends. Will my observation be correct?
Yes, that would be correct.
Wadde tuli baaluganda naye tetuli nnyo ba mukwano.
Well, finally I'm instructed that actually, okay, before I tell you my instructions, confirm to this court that when your stepbrother Freeman was killed, the accused person was never produced in any court of law for that murder. Do you know that fact?
No.
Was he produced in any court of law, to your knowledge, for that murder?
I do not know that, no.
Simanyiiko oba muganda wange oluvannyuma lw'okuttibwa kwa muto wange Freeman yatwalibwako mu mbuga z'amateeka zonna.
Our second last question with you, sir. You don't actually know under what arrangement your brother was taken to Butavika. Is that correct? You don't know who and under what arrangement he was taken to that place called Butavika.
That is correct.
Kituufu simanyi ani oba ntendera ki mwe bayita okutwala muganda wange Butavika.
In fact, you, as your brother, even when you attempted to go there, you never saw him physically to confirm that he was there. Is that correct?
Okay, the question is that when you went, did you see him? Did you see your brother?
Yes, I saw him.
You found him there?
Yes.
Nagendayo Butavika muganda wange namulaba era namusangayo.
Now, our instructions is that after your brother committed a heinous crime for the murder of Freeman, Butavika was used as a scapegoat, and he was taken there without following due process, and from Butavika he was whisked out of Uganda. And his presence, his production in Butavika was on purpose to escape the due process. What do you have to say about our instructions?
My Lord, I have something to say about the questions.
Please go ahead.
My brother should be clear about the instructions.
Mr. Kelly wants to say something. You first attend to him. Yeah, his hand has been up for quite some time. First hear what he's saying. You don't want him? Who do you want? You want to talk to me? You want to ask me? Please go ahead. Give him a microphone.
Yes, my lord. So, my lord, can I ask the witness any question or maybe three?
You want to cross-examine your own witness? You had an issue with
My Lord, my humble request is that my land colleague should tell the witness the instructions, then he goes ahead to continue with that question.
I thought he did that. You want the specificity of the instructions.
Oh, yes.
Actually, since I got the instructions to the question, he says he has instructions that he was taken to Butarika after killing 3 men to escape the due process. And from Butarika, they actually pushed him to the US. That is what I thought he said.
Yes, my lord, but that's a statement, not
Okay,
instructions.
And then he was now going to ask a question. Those were the instructions, and he was going to ask a question.
So, my lord, I pray that my land colleague gives the instructions he was given, then he goes ahead to answer the question.
Okay. I thought that's what you were doing. Mr. Morgan, you have heard? You have instructions, you can now put the question to the witness.
What do you have to say about my said instructions?
You have an answer to the question?
No, I do not have an answer to the question.
My lord, that's all.
That is all. Any re-exam, Mr. Kumbuga?
No
I
re-exam,
think
my
the
lord.
question that he wanted to ask him, he can give it to you, and then you re-examine the witness. You can go and talk to him. Yes, any re-exam?
My lord is insisting on asking him questions.
No, I will not allow him to cross-examine his own witness because he called him, and that is why you're there. But I have just 2 questions to ask you, sir. So you say he's your biological brother and you share both parents. Are your parents both still alive?
Yes, both our parents are still alive.
Bazadde baffe be bamu, maama ne taata era bakyali balamu.
Do they live in Uganda?
Yes, they do.
Era babeera mu ggwanga Uganda.
And you said that you last met your brother, the most recent encounter was after his arrest.
Yes, that is correct.
era kituufu nasemba okusinkana muganda wange ng'amaze okukwatibwa.
But if I can clarify, I saw him. We did not meet.
Namulaba bulabi naye tetwasinkana.
Where did you see him?
That was at Kabalagala police station.
Nalaba ku police station ye Kabalagala.
Which date was that?
On the 2nd of April this year.
Wali nga 2 mwezi ogwokuna omwaka guno.
At what time?
I don't remember the exact time, but it was between 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m.
Sijjukira saawa zennyini naye zaali wakati wa 2:00 ez'ekiro ne saawa 4 ez'ekiro.
Okay. And how did you end up in Kabalagala?
I had work in Ginger.
Okay, how did you go? Who told you to go to Kabalagala?
I received information that he seemed to be the person they were talking about with this occurrence. And then I went to the police station to confirm.
Nafuna amawulire alabika ye muntu eyali akoze bino ebyali bituuseewo era naye ngenda ku poliisi y'e Kabalagala okukakasa.
Who gave you the information?
I found out from my wife.
Amawulire gano nagamanyira ku mukyala wange.
And when you reached Kabalagala, you said you didn't meet him, you just saw him, and did you talk?
No, we did not talk.
Natuuka ku poliisi y'e Kabalagala saayogera naye.
Okay. And about this visit in Butabika that you talked about, are you able to remember the date?
The exact date, no. I just remember, the reason I remember is shortly after the visit, then we had the lockdowns.
Sijjukira nnaku za mwezi zennyini naye kyenzijjukira nti oluvannyuma lwanza okugendayo e Butabika ne wajjawo omuggalo.
Okay. So who told you that he was in Butabika?
We were supposed to have had a family meeting, a get-together in December 2019, and during that planning process, I was trying to check with my mother because I couldn't reach him, and that's when I heard that from a friend that maybe, brother, from another brother.
Twali tulina okuba n'olukuŋŋaana nga famire naye mu nteekateeka twalina okuba n'olukuŋŋaana olwo mu Desemba ya 2019 n'okubuuza maama wange.
So that other brother told you what?
When trying to reach him, because during that time he should have also been in touch, and then that's the one who told me that he could be somewhere in Kampala, maybe at the hospital.
Muganda wange omulala etwabuuzaganya ye yategeeza nti alina okuba nga ali Kampala Onokero era nga tebeezebwa okuba nga ali mu ddwaliro.
So when you reached there, who did you talk to?
I had initially tried to meet the admin who was present at the time, and then I was directed to, I think, an in charge. So she's the one who informed me that that case was sensitive, and I would not be able to meet him.
What did the in charge tell you?
That the case under which he was brought in was sensitive, and I would not be in position to meet him.
What was sensitive?
Sorry?
The case was sensitive.
Yes, please.
Ntandika nagezaako okwogerezeganya n'abaddukanya eddwaliro eryo ne babaako eyali akulira mu kitundu ekyo essaawa eyo.
Did you meet him? Because when he was asking you whether you met him, you said you met him. Did you meet him when during that visit?
No, I did not meet him, but while walking in the compound, I was able to see him in one of the wards.
Walking in the compound and then you saw in the ward? It's not clear, sir.
The administration block, in order to access the administration block, you literally have to go through the compound, and the wards are on the left and on the right. So I believe it was just chance that I actually got.
Did you talk to him?
No, I did not.
So would you be in a position to tell me with certainty why he was taken to the Bukavika?
At present, with the information I now know, or at the time?
What did you it can be two ways, at the time and now. Well, you can begin with them.
At the time, I thought maybe he had broken down. I could not ascertain why he was there. And now, largely through hearsay, I have heard maybe the reasons why he was there.
Through hearsay from who? Tell us whether that source we shall determine whether it is credible or not.
Largely through social media and what is being posted online.
No, we don't take social media as evidence. It is not evidence. Okay, so did you ever get to know when he left the Bukavika?
No, I did not get to know exactly when he left.
And since then, have you met him again apart from the encounter at Ggaba police station?
No, we have not met since. We have, however, been chatting on phone.
Did you try to ask your parents why he was in the Bukavika?
No, I did not.
And did they ever tell you why he was in Butabika? You may not have asked them, but for them, did they tell you?
To get context, my mother at present is not one you can have a coordinated discussion with at the moment. So it was not viable. And with my dad, we've had an estranged relationship. So it was not exactly possible to have that kind of conversation.
How many are you? Children, how many are you? Born by your mother and father?
By my biological mother, we are 4 boys.
Okay. Okay. Let me hear from you, Mr. Jonathan, whether there's anything that arises from my questions.
My Lord, not at all.
How about you, Mr. Kumbuga?
No, my Lord.
Okay, I don't think that I would make a decision because I need to start doing on the computer after hearing the evidence. After hearing the evidence, I have not found it to make an order. The any doctor can come to court to tell the court whether their kids are never been in cancer. As I already noted, their kids will never ever stated that they have never been admitted in cancer. This witness states that the interest was informed him that the case under which he was admitted there was sensitive and he couldn't give him any information. The witness himself has not informed this court that he knows his brother appears to have any mental health challenges. It is also my considered view that even if it was believed that the accused was in Tarika in 2020, it will not be very relevant to this case. This is because this offense is alleged to have happened on 2nd of April 2026, and I've also made a finding that throughout the proceedings, the accused person has been keenly following up the court procedures. I therefore decline to make any order to summon anyone for the trial. And thank you so much for coming. We can now sit down. Let's have the next witness, please. Okay, cameras off, no images, no pictures, and this is as well. Please give me a piece of paper for what you're doing. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, you're going to write your name and your age and your religion on that piece of paper. Luego acompañamos a esta reunión.
Print naye
Kindly look at this person here.
Okuwulira omwami oyo akuddaala.
Do you know him?
Omumanyi?
Mumanyi naye mumanyi mu nnaku nga bbiri.
Ennaku nga bbiri. So when did you first meet him?
Omusooka dde musisinkana?
Olunaku nasooka omutusisinkana. Oyo mwami yajja mu Kisenyi.
Kisenyi of where?
Kisenyi.
Kisenyi Kampala.
We first met him at Kisenyi Kampala.
Okay. Continue.
Mwami yasanga n'abaana tuli ba street kid.
The man called me with children. We are street kids.
How many were you?
Mwali bameka?
Twali bangi kwali ne mwana tusukkamu.
We are many. We are over 40.
Okay, what happened?
Twetaddirira.
Omwami yali ayitawo tumugamba nakojja baleko naye nga yali muntu wa luzungu.
The gentleman was passing and we greeted him.
Omwami twamubuuza tumugamba anko batukule amazzi ga bitambo nnyo.
We were speaking English and we told him, buy for us some water for drinking.
Omwami n'atugamba tewagala kuwa amazzi wagala kuwa emmere.
That gentleman told us they are not going to give you water, they are going to give you food.
Waliwo omukazi atunda wokeeri atunda emmere etandikira ku 1,000.
There is a lady there who sells food and the prices start at 1,000.
Tumugamba anko
What type of food?
Yonda mmere kikaaki.
kawunga na bijanjalo n'omuceere.
Sells posho, beans and rice.
Tumugamba anko obaga kuba batusaze ne tulina buzibu katogere ne anti waffe atuwa emmere.
He told me, if that's what you've decided, let's talk with our auntie so that she gives us the food.
Omwami tumuyita tumugamba genda ogere ne anti olaba tuwekera emmere yamekafu tuli wanenzala najja kuba organizinga.
I told that gentleman to go and meet and talk with our auntie to see the food she would give us and it's for how much. Me, I would organize the other children.
Nasigala nga nsotinga abaana mbateeka mu layini bagamuteere.
I remained sorting the other children and lining them up.
Nensotinga abaana ne bampuliriza kubeera oli bampuliriza.
We sorted them and they listened to me because there they listened to me.
Anko yajjira nga naze okwesotinga ne anti agamba bakuli bali balabika babegera emmere mpolampola.
And that uncle came back after sorting himself with the other auntie and he told us, you sit there and they start serving us the food slowly, slowly.
Nagamba tutambuze emmere tubagabula emmere tugabanya abaana emmere tugabanya abaana emmere. Emmere olwaggwayo abanko nagamba ali nkwagalamu.
We distributed the food, sharing it amongst all the children, and when it was done, that uncle told me he wanted to talk to me. That's when he asked for my phone number. He told me to give him my phone number, and whenever he would come and he doesn't find me, he would call me and I help him sort other children.
Okuwulira kubakulagala mumulekedde enamba yange y'essimu. Anamba kuliyetegewo ku stooka.
That day he left when I had given him my phone number and he told me to save his and put his name as Christopher. I also told him to save mine and put the name Sammy. And on that day he left. The following day he came back, he inquired how many children were around. I checked around and again he bought us food. He came with a 10-liter jerrycan of drinking water. He came for about 2 days and on that day I didn't see him again.
So you mean from that day you are seeing him right again?
Togamba okuva ku olwo oze kumulaba kati. Again at the news.
Okay. Do you have anything more to tell on this court?
Tunayetala twandala okutegeeza kooti eno? No.
I know they are full with this witness. In general cross-examination, Walker, multiply.
A few questions. So just for you to confirm, do you know the specific dates when you met Christopher?
Ojjukira ennaku z'omwezi ennyini zebasinkanamu Christopher. Ennaku z'omwezi n'omwezi.
Zali nga 19 Ogwokubiri.
It was on 19th February.
This year?
Mwaka guno.
Yeah.
And what is the age bracket of the children that you were organizing on these instructions?
Abaana be wali okuŋŋaanya balimu wakati wa myaka emeka bw'emeka byagamba okuŋŋaanya.
Tandikira ku myaka 7, 8, 10 n'abalinga.
Between 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, and those beginning.
So finally, I want you to confirm that you don't know where Christopher was after the 19th of February this year.
Kakasa kooti eno nti tomanyi wa Christopher gye yali oluvannyuma lwa 19 omwezi ogwokubiri omwaka guno. Kakasa kooti eno nti tomanyi Christopher gye yadda oluvannyuma lw'olunaku z'omwezi wa 19 omwezi ogwokubiri omwaka guno. I don't know.
No, my lord. My lord, I pray for adjournment to summon the remaining 2 witnesses we talked about.
Omusango gw'Okutta n'akolera ebibiriza abalala abalemerwako.
Yeah, my lord, I wanted to briefly raise a concern about a prayer for adjournment. My lord, the order of court was to summon all witnesses as listed by the accused. And no reason has been advanced by the defense why the rest of the witnesses have not been produced. We believe that an adjournment should be for purpose. First, obviously, my lord, of the relevance which is in the hands of the defense, the relevance of the witnesses. But second, the possibility of the witnesses appearing. We seek for the indulgence, my lord.
May it please you, my lord, you read for us where the land chief set up for the dead reasons when you were at Jani, then I reply.
No, the chief said that there was something one of us something there was no day that the chief secretary did not have enough information. If anything, we actually wanted it done and left witnesses on the same street. because of time.
My Lord, what deserves on my side, his side also should be deserved. He's asking reasons from me, but I pray that the court record is here. He reads to us that on the following days, I offered the following reasons. That's why witnesses did come. Then I replied his statement.
I think the thing to say, the orders of the court were, he gave us 4 names with a number, and he was trying to say we had 2 witnesses out of the 4. So why we have 2 not here? And maybe I have an answer. If I sit down and explain. Following the order of the court to serve the 4 witnesses whose identities were not disclosed to the public, there was efforts were made to serve those witnesses, and those efforts can actually be confirmed by the appearance of the 3 witnesses out of the 4 that we have named. But there is one which number is not a random number. I have an affidavit service from Ontario evening is that lady seated there. She says on 23rd she received summons from the deputy registrar to serve a witness name and then a telephone number. I believe it is an American telephone number. Then it says on the same day, 23rd, I tried calling the telephone number using an MTN line in order to reach him for service from someone, but the number was not available. Mr. Kumbu, I'm responding to please listen. But I called the same telephone number several times at 4:05, at 5:50, at 5:58, and all was in vain. But I also tried to send witness summons through WhatsApp, but could not find the same telephone number on WhatsApp. But I swear this affidavit confirmed that that telephone number was unavailable and the witness could not be reached. And so that is for that one. And then the other 2 who were here, she also saw an affidavit to the effect. Then for another one, she says that she received the summons for that particular witness on a particular telephone number, and on the same day she tried calling the telephone number given using her MTN line in order to reach him for his address, but the number was not available. She again tried the same number several times at 4:01, at 5:06, and at 5:53 p.m. All those numbers were still, all those times, the telephone number was still unavailable. But I also sent him a witness summons on his WhatsApp, but it was showing that his WhatsApp was last seen on the 15th March 2026. So that is where we are. Efforts were made to summon these 2 witnesses, but unfortunately they could not be reached. I want to believe that if they could be reached, they would have been here, like the other 2 witnesses who came. I want you to again talk to Mr. Christopher Okono and explain that to him, and let him tell us whether he still thinks to give him an opportunity to call these 2 witnesses, but if he can mistake with them, that will also be fine. So you should know that efforts to test and get these 93 numbers were I have taken note that the accused person yesterday informed the court that he intended to call 4 witnesses. He went ahead to avail their names with their telephone numbers. Unfortunately, he did not avail their physical addresses. So the process server used those telephone numbers, and she was able to get the 2 witnesses who have testified as BW2 and BW3. However, on the 2 numbers availed by the accused person, according to her affidavits, which she recorded to this morning, which she recorded to yesterday, she stated that one of the telephone numbers which was available by the accused person, it is not a Ugandan number, it is an American number. And she made efforts to reach on this number, the person on this number, but the number was off. She tried at 4:05 p.m., at 5:50 p.m., and at 5:58 p.m., and all was in vain. She then tried to send a witness summons using WhatsApp, but the telephone number was not on WhatsApp. Then for the other witness, there was also no address, but there was a telephone number. She also informed the accident on 23rd, and she also indicated that she tried several times. The first time was at 4:01 p.m., then at 5:06 p.m., and then at 5:53 p.m., but still this number was not going through. Then she sent a witness summons on a WhatsApp with that number, but it showed her that this number had last seen WhatsApp on the 15th of March of 2026. But we all saw that she at least managed to serve 2 witnesses who appeared today. But I will give this accused person one more time to try and make another effort to try and see whether we shall get to these 2 witnesses. I am asking the Deputy Registrar to again make an effort and ensure that we try to trace these 2 witnesses. And so, for that reason, I am adjourning this case to Monday, the 27th of April, 2026 at 9 a.m. for further defense hearing, and the accused person is further remanded till then.
omuvunaanywa otegeeza nti era alina okutta abajulizi bano era n'akuwa amannya n'enamba z'essimu naye ng'ateekeko gye babeera era kooti n'etwala obuvunaanyizibwa n'efuna prosesaava oba atambuza abaluwa mu kooti n'akuba amusimu ago agamuweereddwa era ababiri n'abafuna era be bajuliza abazze olwaleero omujulizi abadde owokubiri ku ludda olwo olwawabirwa n'omujulizi abadde owokusatu ku ludda olwo n'agezaako okukuba ennamba endala yamuweereddwa ya namba ya Amerika era n'agezaako enfunda eziwera naye netayitamu n'agezaako okusindika obubaka ku mukutu gwa WhatsApp ennamba n'eraga nti teri ku mukutu gwa WhatsApp nadda ku nnamba endala era nayo n'eraga nti teriiko n'agiddamu enfunda eziwera era n'agisindikako n'obubaka WhatsApp naye n'eraga nti yali saawa eyo teri online ng'erudde okubeerako yakoma mu Gwakusatu n'olw'ensonga eyo avunaanibwa aweereddwayo obudde obulala omusango okuzeddwayo paka nga 27 mu mwezi ogwokuna omwaka guno ssaawa 3 era n'okeera osinkiddwa okuddayo ku alimanda okutuusa ku olwo